So the Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills for the first time in 7 attempts. I was telling you guys last week, it was going to happen eventually. Eventually, the Dolphins were going to win. The Bills have been so dominant over the Dolphins for the last 3 or 4 years. Josh Allen has been killing it, have been killing us, and most of them have been pretty ugly losses that the Dolphins have when taking on the Buffalo Bills. It's been pretty ugly. There has been a lot of good moments to be happy about as Dolphins fans when we ever come against the Buffalo Bills, but going into the matchup yesterday, things did feel a little different. This is the best the team has looked. I'd argue say my entire life coming into yesterday. The offense is flowing. We saw the same defense coming over from last year. So this was the most optimistic I've ever been against the Bills in our 7-game losing streak. And they obviously it was rightfully so. The Dolphins winning yesterday 21-19. Tua, all right game, forgettable game. Not good, not bad. 13 of 18, 186 yards and a touchdown. What we see from him again, he's efficient. Had a great drive to take the lead in the fourth quarter. The running game is still a big concern for the Dolphins, as it is for the Buffalo Bills. Chase Edmonds getting on the ground, 21 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 11 yards on 8 carries, 41 yards total from everybody rushing, including a Jalen Waddle 9-yard rush. There's not a lot to like from the Dolphins running game, but there's a lot to like in the Dolphins receiving game. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 102 yards, including the absolute bomb of a 48-yard pass from Tua to set the Dolphins up first and goal towards the end of the fourth quarter there yesterday afternoon. Tyreek Hill didn't have himself a notable game. 2 catches, 33 yards. Durham Smythe, 3 catches, 23 yards. River Craycraft getting in the end zone again 2 weeks in a row, elevated from the practice squad for the third time. So Dolphins are eventually going to have to make a decision with River Craycraft as to why they wanted to permanently bring him up to the team. Gesicki, 1 catch, 6 yards. Again, Gesicki, I don't think has a big role in this team, and I think Gesicki will likely find himself on a different football team next year. But the Buffalo Bills really controlled the game in every aspect outside of the scoreboard. Josh Allen, 42 completions, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, did have that fumble. The Buffalo Bills also struggle on the ground game. Josh Allen did have 47 yards himself. However, from the running backs, Zach Moss was the leading running back with 46 yards. However, 43 of that was on one single play, able to beat Nick Needham down the sideline. And then Devin Singletary, FAU alum, love to see him in action. 13 yards on the ground. He did have a good game in the receiving game. He was actually their leading receiver, 9 catches, 78 yards, and the first touchdown of the game. Isaiah McKenzie, 7 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs held him out of the end zone. The NFL's leading receiver, 7 catches, 74 yards, didn't get in the end zone at all. The Bills did truly control that game. The Bills, as much as I hate to say it, the Bills were the better team. And to me, the Bills are still the better team than the Miami Dolphins. The Bills do just about everything right. They can't run the ball. Their defense was really beat up yesterday, but the Bills do just about everything right. And we look at the team stats. Look at the first downs. 31 first downs for the Bills to the 15 of the Miami Dolphins. Total yards, not even close. 497 yards for the Bills, 212 yards for the Miami Dolphins. Passing, Josh Allen, 400 yards, Tua, 180 something. Everything on paper, just looking at the team stats, erase the score. The Bills did better than the Dolphins yesterday. And that does not, I don't want to completely discredit the Dolphins win because you're 3-0. You've gone against Belichick. You've gone against the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh. And then you go against the best team in the NFL and the Buffalo Bills, and you walk away from that being 3-0. And as a Dolphins fan, that is so much to be excited about. That is all you could ever ask for. But let's be real. We're not better. We're not overall better than the Buffalo Bills. We play 10 times. We probably beat them 3 or 4 times. However, that does mean the Bills win 6 or 7 times. Josh Allen is still the best quarterback in the league. They just weren't able to convert. They got into the red zone. They got into our area of the field pretty much every single drive. They were in the red zone 4 times, only able to convert twice in the red zone. Miami, on the other hand, was a lot more clinical, 3 of 3 in the red zone. Miami Dolphins were able to take advantage of the few times they did put together a drive. They put together really only 2 solid drives, and both of those ended in touchdowns. We had the long drive starting around the 20, 30-yard line, eventually ending in River Cracraft touchdown. And then similar situation, starting deep in your own territory. Waddle has two long passes, one down the sideline, one absolute beautiful ball over the top, getting the Dolphins first and goal. And then they, of course, then hand the ball off to Chase Edmonds to score. And they also had the initial touchdown for the Dolphins in the game off the strip sack from Javon Holland, recovered by Melvin Ingram, and Chase Edmonds runs into the end zone a couple plays later. The Miami Dolphins were clinical. Miami Dolphins took care of their opportunities when they were presented to them, but they didn't create a lot. They didn't create a lot on their own outside of those, like I said, those that one drive where Tua hit Waddle for 20 plus yards and then hit him for 50 yards. That was the best the offense looked yesterday, was on that drive. And we won. We won despite not having the best of days on offense. The defense is really what won us that game, stopping the Buffalo Bills multiple occasions. Bills putting together these long drives. That second to last drive, Buffalo started with the ball with just under 10 minutes to go. They drive all the way down the field, get it, and goal to go. They don't convert on the fourth and goal. When they didn't convert on the fourth and goal, there was a minute 40 left. They took 8 minutes off the clock, just chipping away. And that was the story of the game yesterday. I saw the completion chart for Josh Allen, and it was a lot of underneath passes. It was a lot. We know Josh Allen is more than a check down artist, which Tua has been accused of. But that's what the Dolphins held him to yesterday. There wasn't a lot of opportunities for him to hit receivers even more than 15 yards down the field. Gabriel Davis had a couple. Stephon Diggs is still an absolutely electric wide receiver. But the Miami Dolphins secondary, who is very banged up in their own sense. Byron Jones is still out. Xavier Howard was cramping through the entire game, as was half the players on both teams. I couldn't even count how many times player went down. And of course, Tua went down, his back, his head. What's going on with that? I'm not quite sure. But everybody else that went down, it felt like they were cramping. I'm looking up at the big board, and they're giving a injury report for both teams. And it just said heat next to 6, 7 guys that were just on rotation on the board. They're out because it's too hot. They're out because of cramps. They may have heat exhaustion, but looking on the field, dudes were cramping up like crazy. So Xavier Howard missed a decent chunk of the second half. Did come back at the end, made a few key plays to hold the Bills from getting in the end zone. But the defense really is what stepped up for the Miami Dolphins. The Bills got into Miami Dolphins territory on every single drive, forced Josh Allen to check the ball down. Didn't allow anything in the ground game for the Bills yesterday. And then Miami Dolphins walk away with the victory. Miami Dolphins walk away as the standalone undefeated team in the AFC. It wasn't perfect. Last 2 weeks, far from perfect. Last week against the Ravens, you're down by 21 at 2 separate occasions, including in the fourth quarter. Defense was not playing well last week. Tua, 470 yards, 6 touchdowns. Bails out the defense. Comeback, multiple huge throws, wide open throws. I get it. Yeah, you throw into wide open guys, whatever. But the offense last week carries the defense, and then flip around to this week. The offense couldn't get a lot going. Didn't turn the ball over. Again, efficient, if nothing else, efficient. But the offense had no juice. They never really helped us to get momentum in the game outside of those 2 drives where we capitalized, long drives, capitalizing touchdowns. Didn't kick a single field goal yesterday. Defense holding the Bills to field goals and may have blocked a field goal. I haven't got to see the replay when Brandon Bass kicks a field goal, misses left, but it's kind of like sideways spinning. I haven't got to see the replay on that. But the defense holding the Bills to field goals, the defense holding goal to go, 2 minutes left in the game, Bills don't get in the end zone. When the Bills failed on the fourth down, and that fourth down pass was definitely more on Josh Allen than it was the defense. He just short hopped it. And that one I did get to watch the replay on. His base was all off. As he's going to throw, his weight shifted like 3 or 4 times from his back leg to his front leg and back again. It was just a mechanically bad throw, and he ends up short hopping it. But the defense, with their backs against the wall, against the best team in the league, were able to stop them. Goal to go, 2 minutes left to go. That wins championships. I came on this show last week on Friday talking about the Bills and Browns game. Not sorry, Bills and Browns game, the Steelers and Browns game, saying that defense doesn't win championships. What I meant by that, defense alone, defensive philosophy alone, that we've seen with the Steelers, we've seen with the Patriots, we've seen with the Bears and other teams in the league. Defensive philosophy alone and neglecting the offense does not win championships. But with the Dolphins, we know we have an offense on the other side that is capable and is at worst capable. We saw it yesterday. It was capable. We saw against the Ravens, it was outright dominant. But having that defense, having that defensive line, we were missing Raekwon Davis yesterday, but having Christian Wilkins on that line, Zach Zeeler, one of the most underrated players in the league. Melvin Ingram has been a fantastic acquisition. Melvin Ingram was our best edge rusher yesterday. Jalen Phillips, I got to be honest, has been very irrelevant for the first 3 games. I don't think he has a single sack. He has not been, he has not impacted the game hardly at all. He has been a passenger in the last 3 games. Second-year player, one of the younger players coming to the draft last year, was very raw, had a great second half of the season last year, but he's mostly been irrelevant. However, Melvin Ingram has been an impeccable signing for the Dolphins, adding him towards the end of the offseason on a 1-year deal. Secondary being beat up, fought. They got burned a couple times. That touchdown to Isaiah McKenzie, where you're selling all out, and then he pops open on a crosser. Can't happen. Backs against the wall, 4th and goal, stopping the best team in the league, team you haven't been able to beat in 7 straight appearances. That is championship level defense. That is a championship level effort by this team. Everybody's dying out there. Everybody's cramping up. Everybody's in pain and agony. Both sides of the ball. Bills lost Stephon Diggs for a few plays because he's cramping up too. Josh Allen hurt his hand at some point. Everybody out there is hurt, including our team, including our defense. And our defense stepped up with their backs against the wall. Now, we're not going to talk about the butt punt. I saw that coming. That was in our end zone, and I think that was that Trent Sherfield. That was his as Tyreek quotes, his hard cheeks absorbed the blunt of the ball. He backed up too far. You're usually worried about your punter backing up too far, but with Morstead, an experienced elite punter, which we've seen the difference having an elite punter on this team is. We see the difference in field position. Yes, just look at the safety yesterday. Obviously, that's a free play, and you really can just boot it. But he punted it from our 20 to their 15. And I'm taking over at the 25. I'm not worried about Morstead. Sherfield backs up too much. You can see it coming. As soon as it happened, I was like, they didn't block that. And then you see the replay, like, okay, yeah, that's what happened. But the commentating team noted, like, maybe we're better off giving him a safety anyways, just because of that possible situation where you can envision the ball being blocked, and fortunately it goes straight out the back of the end zone. But if it falls into the lap of a defensive player on the Bills, that's a touchdown. They have the lead now, and then you're asking the offense to come back on the field, who hasn't had a great game, to then deliver a game-winning drive, which they did last week. But that's not the situation you want to be in. You want to have the lead. You want to have a lead. As scary as it is with Buffalo coming at you, you want the lead. You want to be the ones to make the stop, which the defense did periodically yesterday, then having to go score points. Bills come back on the field after the safety. Josh Allen hits a few passes, but there wasn't anything spectacular. The defense did a great job of not necessarily playing all out prevent, which we saw last week, which allowed the Ravens to get to the 50-yard line in like 2 or 3 plays. But soft coverage, definitely playing soft, allowing these 10-yard gains. Great coverage. Nick Needham was great on that last drive. A couple pass deflections on the game. And then you got to thank Isaiah McKenzie for not going out of bounds, because if he goes out of bounds, that's a makeable kick. We've seen other kickers make. We haven't really seen Brandon Bass attempt a kick like that. Just off the top of my head, I can't think of that. But if he has the opportunity to make it, that's for the game right there. Isaiah McKenzie goes down in bounds. The Bills are not able to get another playoff, and the stadium again erupts. I'm hugging everybody around me. Me and my girlfriend are celebrating. I don't even know if she picked up on this. I hit her with a fake propose, just in the moment. I don't know why I did it, but it was funny. But yeah, the stadium erupts, high fiving, hugging everybody around. There's nothing like winning a game last play and being obviously the home team where we did outnumber them slightly. We did outnumber them slightly. But the camaraderie, the celebration, the realizing you just beat an opponent you haven't been able to beat in multiple years, beat the best team in the league, best quarterback in the league, and now you are 3-0. We then found out that the Chiefs lost. I zoned out everything in the moment. I was like, my fantasy teams, I was projected to win by like 20 points in every single league, and I still am. But I was like, I would take the L in all three of those leagues if we get this stop right now. And thankfully, it looks like I'm going to get both, unless Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard absolutely pop off tonight in different leagues. The Miami Dolphins are 3-0. The Miami Dolphins are 3-0, going on the road this week to the Cincinnati Bengals, who finally got their first win of the season. Joe, if you're listening to this, I told you the Jets were not winning. The Jets are a mess. Look at them fighting on the sideline. Bengals put something together, beat the Jets last week, but they're still not perfect. And Miami Dolphins have the opportunity going 4-0 this Thursday, 8:15, Amazon Prime. I'm gonna be watching that. I know majority of you will be watching that. Can't wait. Can't wait. Love to see the game yesterday. Buffalo Bills coming into Miami, losing for the first time in 4 years, falling to the Miami Dolphins 21-19.